If this here was a button, and if you press that button, your plan S would occur, and it would shut down every data center that is currently training a frontier AI model for good. There would never be any other AI labs working on these problems. Would you press that button?
I was about to slam it until you said for good.
Oh, okay.
Like I think if it was a sort of temporary shutdown, I would totally slam that button, because we are not ready to do this. Like civilization is not ready to have these companies automate themselves and then get smarter and smarter and then have the super intelligent. Like, no, there's a bunch of reasons why that's really dangerous. But I would be at least hesitant to press this button if it permanently foreclosed the possibility of ever doing it again, for sure.
But if you think that plan D is probable, which is this race we're on to superintelligence.
If I had a choice between D and S, I think I would press it.
Well, it comes down to what you think, right? Because if you think that is what's going to happen, plan D, and the only alternative.
I didn't say this is what's going to happen.
Probabilistically.
Yeah. Like I'd be like, this is the most likely. Maybe this is the second most likely. Maybe this is the third most likely. They are all possible.
So with your current perspective on whatever one you think is going to happen, would you press the button? I'm giving you an S, a definite S, or whatever you think is going to happen.
That's tough. What is the scope of the shutdown? So is it?
It's no one can train an AI model again, ever again.
That's real rough because, like I said, there's loads of benefits that we could get from AI if we do it right.
I think I've almost put you in the position of Sam Altman.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah. Do you mind if I just take a moment to think about this?
I prefer you to think.
Yeah. I think I would not press the button, but I feel very torn about it. The reason why I think I would not press the button is that I still have substantial hope that we can get something much better than this, something more like this. And I think that, basically, I think that if we don't build powerful AI systems eventually, then we're probably going to die as a civilization eventually, like 100 years from now, 200 years from now, something like that, like nuclear war, pandemic, something, I don't think human civilization right now is like super, super stable. And so I think that basically what I was about to say was the possible benefits for posterity and for all the billions and billions of people who could live in the future outweigh the current level of risk. But actually,
I've heard that narrative before.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like, nope. The people right now are the people we should prioritize. People right now are in grave danger. They're going to be fine for at least the next couple of decades. So never mind posterity. Prioritize the people right now. And people right now definitely don't want to do this lottery, I would say. Yeah, you've really asked me a tough question.
So would you press the button if that was the button?
Probably not, but I would feel very torn.
Okay. So what I always think about the personas of like the audience that are watching, and these are, they're very curious people, especially on the subject of AI, as we've seen, but they want to know like what it means for them. I think a lot of them also want to know what they can do.
Yes. Yeah, what can people do? Well, I think that if you either have talent or passion, you can get directly involved. There's lots of organizations that are worried about these things and that are trying to do something about it, like political advocacy or technical research, or like building useful tools that will hopefully help people be better and stuff. But if you don't want to like make any major career changes or things like that, then I would say just pay more attention to these issues and talk about it more with people. Do stuff like, emailing your congressman or whatever. It doesn't change things that much, but it does help. I think that especially for this particular issue, the core problem is that people aren't taking it seriously yet. Like if the sorts of things that I was just saying to you for the last hour or two were just like top of everybody's mind, we wouldn't even be here. Like there would already be much more significant regulation in place, And not only would there be more heavy regulation in place, but there would have been better regulation in place that's less like a cudgel and more like a scalpel. And that's like more sensitive to what's actually bad and what's not so bad and so forth. And there'd be more expert people in the government and advising the government and so forth. So just in general, like the more people wake up to these concerns and to these projections, I think the more likely it is that we can do good stuff before it's too late.
What about how they should vote at the polls? We've got an election coming up in the United States in a couple of years' time, but there's elections happening all over the world all the time.
You should ask your candidates what they think about all this AI stuff. You should try to get them to like have opinions, and then you should vote for the candidates whose opinions are better on this topic. This is the most important thing happening in our lifetimes, probably in all of history, in fact. And it's very important that it go well. And so it's what all the leaders of all the countries should be thinking about and making plans for.
Isn't it such a weird thing to be alive at this moment in time? Like I was thinking about all the times that I could have been born, and I guess my ancestors probably thought the same, but I was thinking as you were speaking, I was like, I think it's when you referred to it as like the final show.
Yeah.
What was the phraseology you used?
I said the is the run up to the climax or something.
Yeah. I mean, what a crazy thing to be born in the run up to the climax where everything you're describing here is within my lifetime, conceivably, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, hopefully. What a crazy time to be alive.
Certainly.
I noticed that when I asked you if you had kids, your demeanor changed quite considerably.
Well, it's
like you dropped into a different state. Obviously, that's been central to the rumination that you've been experiencing.
Well, it's a sad topic, right? Like when I had kids, like the reason to have kids is in large part about the future, you know? Like it's not just like a cuddly thing to have with you in the moment. It's because you have all these hopes and dreams about how they'll grow up and how they'll go do their own thing and be their own person and stuff. And because of what's happening with AI, I think a lot of those dreams are in jeopardy.
Presumably you still would have had kids.
I've actually flip-flopped on this
Really?
Occasionally. Yeah. Basically, the top line answer is I'm not sure. My first child we had her when we were in 2019. She was born in 2019.
Yeah.
So this is before my timeline shortened a lot. So at this point, I was interested in AI. I was tracking the field. I was making forecasts, but I didn't like actually expect it to happen soon. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then this caused like when I did start thinking like, oh my gosh, it's going to be happening like real soon, like by 2030. You know, that caused some reconsidering. And so I basically told my wife, like, let's not have any more kids. It's too uncertain, you know. But that turned out to be really hard because, especially for my wife, like we already had one kid and like no siblings. So eventually I sort of gave in and was like, okay, well, you know what? We already have one. It's going to be all right. Like maybe the future will be good. And even if it's not, like, well, we're all in the same boat together.
It's quite chilling what you're saying. It's chilling because you know more than me. And if you're at home saying to your wife, listen, maybe we should pause on having more children and building a family because of what's going on with AI.
To be clear, yes, it's very concerning. I am chilled. This is bad. This is what I've been saying. I hope things go well. I think things might go well. I think that there's a lot we can do to like steer things in a better direction.
I mean, one of those things as well, I have to say, is just speaking about it. I think a lot of the progress we've seen with governments waking up and, you know, we've seen certain things with people booing certain people at certain events.
Yeah.
Is a downstream from people like yourself actually coming on shows like this and all the other podcasts and telling us what's going on.
Yeah.
Because else to be fair, we're going to be gaslighted by the people that have the biggest PR machines.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably worth me saying, I find myself kind of in two minds because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm an investor. I'm an investor in probably more than 100 companies now. And so many of those companies are using AI. I invested in Grok, the inference chip company. I've invested in SpaceX, which now own another Grok, and they're doing AI. I use AI every day in my life. I've been using it through this conversation to understand different things that you've said. So that's one side of me, which is like business builder, entrepreneur, who has seen the benefits of AI in my own life. And then there's the other side of me. And it's funny because I think sometimes people think you have to pick a camp. But through all of my life, even when I was a social media CEO and I was saying, by the way, listen, I'm building a social media business, but I think there's some downsides to social media. I find myself at the same moment where I'm like, I build with AI, I have AI investments. And at the same time, as a civilian, I'm like...
Yeah. I mean, I think that is a tension. I think that there's different ways you can draw the line. So, and I know lots of people who draw the line in lots of different ways. So like there's some people who just like, I'm not going to use AI. I think this stuff is bad. And on a bad trajectory, so I'm going to like boycott AI, right? I'm not one of those people. I use AI a lot. We all do at AI Futures Project. It's helpful for a lot of our work. The opposite end of the spectrum is people being like, well, it seems like it's on a trajectory to happen. So the thing to do to make it go well is to like get involved and accumulate power and try to like steer it from the inside. And so I'm going to go work at OpenAI or Anthropic and like try to like climb the ranks and then like, you know, be someone who matters when the important decisions are being made. And I know loads of people like that. That was like what I was doing when I was, that wasn't what I was doing exactly, but like,
that was the path.
I mean, this, in some sense, this is what the whole narrative of the companies are, right? Like, this is why they tell themselves it's okay to do what they're doing, is that they're worried about the other guys, you know? And so like all these people are deciding like, we're going to like lean really hard into it. We're going to like be there in the room when the important decisions are being made, you know? So there's a whole spectrum, and I'm sort of like somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm not at the AI companies. I'm not helping them go faster. Instead, I'm talking to the broad public and trying to advocate for what I think is my current best guess as to the way out, you know, the way forward. But I'm not like boycotting all the AIs. I'm not like, you know, I'm not refusing to like engage with it in that way.
Do you think it's too late?
No, I don't think it's too late. If I thought it was too late, I wouldn't be here.
Where would you be?
With my family.
What's your closing message to the general public, if you had to have a closing statement to them?
Maybe I would say that like, you're going to hear a lot of things, and you already have been hearing a lot of things about AI, and it's going to sound like science fiction. But sometimes things which sound like science fiction happen in reality. And in fact, many times, historically, things which used to be science fiction have then become reality. And people need to stop thinking about what does or doesn't sound like science fiction and just start thinking about like the trends and, you know, the actual trends that this technology is on, and reading and forecasting how it's going to go, and then taking seriously the possibility that it could go something like this, and then thinking about what should be done about that.
And where would you direct them to get more information?
You can go to AI247.com to read our previous scenario. You can go to AI2040.com, Plan A, to read our new proposal for what is to be done. These things are not just a sci-fi story. They also have lots of like explainers and links to other things. And so they're kind of like a nice jumping off point to learn about all of this stuff. If you want, I could, after this is over, like give a reading list of like other papers and articles and
Please do.
blogs to follow and so forth.
And I'll link them all below in the comment section. So if you're listening now, go ahead and take a look at the description of this episode, and you'll see a bunch of links, which is Daniel's recommendations of what you should read. You know, I think it's just a really, really great moment in time to get educated on this stuff. Humans have an inclination, because of cognitive dissonance, where we feel uncomfortable about something, to bury our heads in the sand and avoid it.
Yeah.
But actually, I think this is one such time to do the very opposite. For many reasons, to inform yourself so you know what actions to take, but also because AI, unavoidably is going to be a huge part of all of our lives and careers.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's a good way to say it. It's going to matter a lot. It's going to be everywhere soon, and we need to do something about it before it's too late.
And what about AI Future Project?
That's our organization. We spent a year writing AI 2047 after I left OpenAI, and then we spent another year writing AI 2040 Plan A.
Daniel, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the work that you do. I can see how much you care about this stuff, and it's your care. It's funny, care itself makes others feel care. And seeing how personal this is for you, and seeing how much you've dedicated your life to this, but also hearing that you basically walked away from $2 million to be able to speak to the public about this information is incredibly admirable. And I think voices like yours are more important now than they've ever been on this subject. So please do keep fighting the fight that you're fighting. And that's one of information. It is of honesty, and it is of saying what is often the quiet part out loud. If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.